Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge. You probably already know that. But welcome to the United Stand. A new month. We've got Morgan over the shoulder. Goodbye to Chris, Mike, Smalling. Bit of controversy tonight. I suppose we'll start off with that. It is called Mourinho's Cull because things are coming through the press, which I will get onto in a moment, quite credible things. However, the first thing I wanted to talk about was what Bastian Schweinsteiger's brother put out about an hour and a half ago. No respect was the tweet. We know things are going on with Schweinsteiger. We know that he's been told to go and train with the under-23s. And obviously his brother, a big Manchester United fan, where I remember when we signed him, he was giving hints out. He was ecstatic that he came and signed for us. Obviously not very happy. I think at the moment we're just swimming through a swimming pool of, I would nearly said SHIT, but dividing opinions. Some are on one side and some are on the other. You know where I am when it comes to Schweinsteiger. I do think it's disrespectful. I do think he's got a lot to offer, and I think, as I said last night, if you're gonna give Schneiderlin, Darmian, Memphis, and Herrera a chance because they were suppressed by Van Gaal, why can't Schweinsteiger get a chance? I mean, I've thrown things out, and there's a couple of polls I wanted to get involved in the show in a few minutes' time, but those people who are against Schweinsteiger seem to be saying he's over the hill, he's injured. That's no reason for him to be chucked into the under-23s, is it? I mean, you can be over the hill and injured. I mean, look at Michael Carrick over the last 2 years. I'm a massive Carrick fan, but he carries a lot of injuries. He gets injured a lot. I think he's missed about half of the last 2 seasons. So I don't buy into that. And we knew that when we bought Schweinsteiger. So I'm disappointed by it. I'm disappointed for another reason. Like Joe Kelly says there, Bastian over Fellaini every day. Every day of the week. I don't know where it's going to end. I think it's going to end with him leaving. And I liken it to Robin van Persie. I've said that. Robin van Persie shouldn't leave. Somebody said to me today, he's rubbish. We were right to get rid of him. I don't think his record in Turkey is that bad. Unless... Well, go and look it up. It isn't that bad. I'll tell you bluntly, his record isn't that bad in Turkey. He scored a lot of goals there. So this rubbish that he's passed it and everything like that, well, we were hardly banging the goals in last season. Maybe this summer would have been the time for him to go, but I thought he would have offered a lot better than what we actually had last year. It was diabolical. So, and I just think Schweinsteiger, he's the only World Cup winner in the squad, as somebody quite rightly said. He's got masses of experience at the very top level for Germany and Bayern Munich. We've got young midfielders like Fosu Mensah, Pogba, Herrera's still developing. He's a massive, and he's a leader. He's a leader of the highest quality. Him around your squad is a massive positive. And as I said, I saw at the weekend that Michael Carrick is the only person who can take the ball off the back four and dictate the team. Schneiderlin just doesn't look like he'll ever be able to do it. I hope he proves me wrong. But Schweinsteiger can definitely do it. Why are we letting him go? To me, there's a bigger picture here. We may never find out what that bigger picture is like with Robin van Persie, but to me, it sticks in my claw a little bit. And I do feel it's disrespectful because I think he's got a lot to offer. Leader, a great player, one of my favourite midfielders of the last 2 decades. And I don't understand it. I do remember that there was things last year that he was getting preferential treatment. He was going over to Germany a lot, but that's Van Gaal's reign. He's back here. From what we know, he wants to stay here and prove himself. It's a new manager. If everyone else is getting a second chance, then he should get a second chance. Maybe it just comes down to politics in the dressing room again, which we know there were divides. We know that the likes of Rooney and Carrick and the English people have been there a long time and they sort of rule the dressing room, and maybe they didn't like the preferential treatment Schweinsteiger had, but it's a new manager. It should be a new start. I'm sort of getting into this because I love Moo hates Germans, says Meldor on. I'm getting into this really because I'm like, I think reality is starting to bite with Manchester United. Jose Mourinho, 100% the right manager. In Jose we trust, and whatever he does, we'll just have to go with it. And I think he's done a lot right. But I think what we're starting to see now is that, as I said a few days ago, don't just totally go along with everything that he says, because he's going to do things that you don't agree with. And that's what football's about. It's like your best mate who supports United and you sit in the pub. You don't agree 100% on everything. And that's the way a good relationship works. You know, it's disagreements that bring you back together. And I think we're starting to see with Jose now that we're not going to agree with everything that he does. I think he will bring success. We will win the league. But even with Sir Alex Ferguson, it was never a smooth ride. There was always things he did that you turn up to. I remember turning up to Leeds away many years ago, and he dropped Beckham for Chadwick, and you were like, "What?" And I can't remember. I think we either won it 1-0 or we lost, and it was like, "What is he doing it?" But it's you don't believe on everything, you don't agree on everything, but I do think it's disrespectful for Schweinsteiger. You know what it smacks to me? A little bit of experience here. It smacks to me they're trying to force him out of the club. You're not training with the first squad. We want to get rid of you. And Schweinsteiger's saying, I don't want to go. He's on big wages, and it's like they're banging up against each other because he is on big wages, and he's got every right to say, I'm not going. I'm just taking my slippers off. He's got every right to say, I'm not going and I want to stay here. And it's how they force him out. And be interesting to see what happens when a player doesn't want to go. I'd like to take some of your comments on Schweinsteiger, so I'm just going to read back. Wilf says Jose doesn't want a dissenting voice. Del Juve Piero says Pogba to West Brom is confirmed. Jack Firth, Pogba this week. We'll talk about Pogba in a bit. What's the latest? Join late, says Sandeep Gaming and Jimmy 5. Just basically that Schweinsteiger's brothers come out on Twitter and said no respect. And we've heard that Schweinsteiger is training with the under-23. So I think that's what that's what it's to do with. And then we've just developed it on where you are. Mark, if you to pick one Man United player to meet, who would you pick? Says Dario Tobin. That's very difficult, I'll come back to that later. Remind me. Craig Farrell says, Mark, Fellaini leaving is like me shagging Rihanna. Not bloody likely. Yeah, I don't think he'll go. Jose knows best, says Sion Housen. I really don't like Yannisai, says Nicky Collins. I'm trying to get some. Metua Carson says, Bastion offered nothing last season. You see, it's that sort of comment that frustrates me a little bit. And I know everyone's got a right to an opinion, but that sort of whitewash, when it's not true. He actually offered a lot at the start of the season. He scored goals. He ran the midfield. We were in touch of winning the title up until November, and he was a big part of that. Post November, he got picked up injuries, and he wasn't part of it. And I agree with that. But to say he wasn't, he offered nothing last season isn't actually true. Schweinsteiger Matuidi swap, says the Jose plan. He's a high earner, and the amount of games he's not fit is not worth it, says Shane MUFC. But he's a high earner on 220 grand a week. But I'll throw this bomb out there because why not? Wayne Rooney plays every week, and he's on £300,000 a week, but never for 2 years has never played above 6 out of 10. What's better? Somebody who, when they do play, is quite good, but they miss half the season, or Wayne Rooney, who gets picked every week and has been pretty poor for 300 grand a week. There's always a different side to a story, and I do find it quite funny that that people are just like very dismissive quite quickly of Schweinsteiger. I think he's just got a lot to offer. I really do. Maybe I've laboured the point a little bit too much, but Cautious Duck, not Dick, says Pace Bastion doesn't want to leave, but he was ordered to pack his locker up. He said that just makes me feel really sad. I like Schweinsteiger. It's no secret. I like Schweinsteiger, and I have done for a long time. Neil Driscoll hopes he stays. It really upset me as a football fan when Robin van Persie went. I was devastated as a football fan. I wasn't crying, but I was devastated as a fan. And I don't want Schweinsteiger to go. I mean, there's a good comment here. Schweinsteiger was underwhelming, to be honest, and he's also on the decline, H1. I disagree. There's a myth now developing. I don't know who's spreading this myth around that he was useless last season and he's on the decline. He got injured. We knew he was injury prone. He got injured and missed the back half of the season. The first half of the season, he was actually quite good within the confines of a Van Gaal team. I would love to see Schweinsteiger in a Jose team where he's allowed to express himself like he did for Germany in the Euros. This is what I'm saying. Herrera, Schneidlin, Memphis, they were suppressed because they weren't allowed to express themselves. So it's the same for Schweinsteiger. He was just somebody who played the simple pass and this, that, and the other. He's a lot better player than that, and it's a shame that we're not going to get to see it a United shirt. And I'm really, I do back the manager. I'm really excited, but I'm not just going to go along with everything when I don't agree with it. And the same as I was arguing with somebody on Twitter today with Pereira. They were saying Pereira's not a number 6, he's a number 10, and he was rubbish against Wigan. Well, I don't know what game you were watching, but when he came on against Wigan, he took the ball off the back four, he was strong, he was dominant, he ran with the ball, he was creative, he was the best player on the pitch again. I think he can do that position. If he goes on loan to a Premier League side, I'll put up with that and I'll follow his career for the season. If we sell him, I'll be absolutely furious. There's no way he should be sold. Can you people watch my videos, says Techers Boys? Was poor at Bayern and last year too, Joel Kellum. I don't know what you're on about. He wasn't poor at Bayern Munich either. You can't say somebody's a poor footballer just because of injuries. And that the injury thing, I will agree with. The fact that you're saying he's poor is just absolute nonsense. And I tell you what, I'll say it again. If you're saying Schweinsteiger was poor last year, so was most of our side. So absolutely rubbish, in my opinion. I have to say that. Anyway, let's crack on to somebody else. From one controversy to another. There's a few controversies. Shall I do an easy one? Let's do it. Well, I'm going to go mad about two more, but let's do Mr. Magnum's put it in capital letters that he was poor. It must be then because he's used capital letters. Well done. Poor man's catamole, says Alex Glover. You're just being stupid and disrespectful now, I think, to be honest. But I'll be disrespectful myself now. Marcus Rojo. Duncan Castles is, he actually is a journalist. Sometimes you think it's unbelievable because he's so anti-Manchester United. He is a journalist and he has been anti-Manchester United for a long time, but he's always been pro-Jose. And since we've got Jose, he started saying a few things. There's a good question here from Ezio Ali, just quickly. If Rashford or Martial dedicated their future at Manchester United, guaranteed for the next 12 years, Mourinho asks you to choose who to keep. Who will you keep, Rashford or Martial, and why? I'm answering this question right in the middle of what I was talking about because it stood out as a fantastic question, and I think everybody would like to answer it. I was asked this same. The reason I've picked this out is because I was asked the same question today. Who is the better player, Rashford or Martial? And I said Martial because at the moment he is the better player. But if you're asking me that, who I would keep at the next 12 years at the club and why, I'd go Rashford. You know why? Because he'll break the goal record in 12 years. He's from our youth system, and he's going to be world class, and that is what Manchester United is about. Martial might be slightly better. He might be slightly better, but Rashford is going to be very, very good. He's a Manchester youth product, and he will break the goals record. So it'd be Rashford for me. I don't know what all you lot think, but anyway, back to. From respecting one United fan to disrespect player to disrespecting another. A lot of people. Let me just read some of those, just so people know what the comments are saying. We've got Rashford, Conor Cochran would choose Fellaini. Fair enough. Rashford, Martial, Rashford, Marshall, Rashford, both and sell Fellaini, says Emma Burns. I love the way Fellaini gets brought in. He will be in the show later. Martial every time, says George Kyle. Both Rashford. I think it's a fair split, you know. Well done. I applaud the United stand. You're always spot on with your opinions, and you always make me feel very, very warm inside because you've split it. And as I said, I think Martial will be the better player, but for me, I'd go Rashford just because of the youth thing. Anyway, Rojo. Duncan Castles, as I was saying before, very anti-Manchester United, but very pro-Jose. Now Jose's at Manchester United. He seems to be getting quite a bit of information. He's come out today that Rojo and Daley Blind are up for sale. I'm going to rant about Blend in a minute when I might surprise few of you, but in relation to Rojo, 100% sell him. Not good enough. Not good enough for Manchester United. Away with this nonsense about you should respect everybody who wears a Manchester United shirt. No, I respect every fan who wears a Manchester United shirt because they're the people who will always endure. Players will come and go, and if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. Nice bloke, whatever. As I've said so many times before, my milkman, well, I don't have a milkman anymore, but if my milkman's a nice bloke, doesn't mean I want him to play for Manchester United. Rojo, not good enough. And consistently, I've said it for the last year that he doesn't discriminate. He will get skinned by anybody, whether it's Cameron, Jerome or Messi. Rojo doesn't mind, and he'll stand off and let people shoot. And even in the preseason game against Dortmund, he was responsible for 2 goals because he either dives in and gets skinned or he stands too far away. He doesn't know how to defend. He doesn't know to keep that yard away so you can't get skinned, but don't give him enough space to shoot. For a man in his mid-20s, it's shocking. So he must be sold. He must be sold. If we can get him sold, fantastic. I wish him all the best where he goes. And off you go, Marcus, away you go. And for those who think he's a nice bloke, he is a bit of a mercenary. He forced the move from his previous club to Manchester United. And that's the modern-day footballer for you. I appreciate and support and respect the fans. But when it comes to a lot of players, they are just wearing a Manchester United shirt for our benefit. And if they do the business, great. And if they don't, I'm not really going to lose that much sleep over it. Jones or Rojo, says Emma Burns. That is probably the question of the season. I will leave that to the live comments and I'll read some of them out because They're both pretty shocking. I call Rojo the Argentinian Phil Jones because he gets injured a lot. But yeah, he's got to go. Mark the Goat, Rojo couldn't mark his own shadow. Very good. Jog on Rojo, says James Kidman. Go, says Neith. Brilliant. Absolutely superb in the comments tonight. I am loving it like that. We've got Jones from Rahib, both. Commando says Jones. Jost says Rojo. Jones, Fellaini or Rojo. Fellaini again. It's great tonight. I'm loving it. A lot of people are saying Jones over Rojo. You know what? I can actually see that, to be honest, because he is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Teapot. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Don't think Blind will be sold. I think that was from Man United, Salford Reds. Tom Caffrey's asking me how Nottingham Forest are. Don't know. You probably know more than me, mate. I don't know. I think the last time, I don't even know. I think they were mid-table last year, were they? I don't actually know that many Forest fans, even though I'm from Nottingham. Most of the lads I grew up with supported Liverpool because it was the late 80s. So there we go. If you were going to support a team from a different country when I was growing up, you would have been a Liverpool fan. And obviously, I never would be. Daily Blind then. Let's do Daily Blind. Please like the video while you're waiting. You're a massive part of the show tonight, as per usual. So drop us a like. We always try and hit 1,000 likes on a live show. We did it on the watch along at the weekend. I don't think we've ever done it on one of the midweek shows. So if we can do 1,000 likes, it's just a simple click below. And you're already on fire. I tell you what, forget Will Grigg. The comment section is on fire as per usual. Brilliant. Let's talk Daily Blinds then. Blind better than Fellaini, says Evil127. Get rid of Blind, says Sion Hoosen. Pogba or James? That's not the question, Terra Gaming, but I'm sure we can touch on that in a bit. How's the poll going? Johan Halberg. Very good. Very good. Let me get onto the poll because that is an important part of the show. In an essence, in a way, it is. I did it earlier on. Okay, if United were to sell one of these four, who would you sell? I did this at about midday today, and the four options were Daily Blind, Juan Mata, Fellaini, or Januzaj. Now, I'm going to give you a few minutes here. Well, I'm not going to give you a minute. I'm not going to give you a few minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few seconds to start putting who you would go with out of those four. Who would you sell out of one of these four? Daily Blind, Juan Mata, Fellaini, or Januzaj? And if I had £1 for every time Fellaini was typed in our live comments box now, I think I'd be quite rich. Yes. Fellaini, that is just absolute landslide of crap because it is Fellaini's name all over the shop. Okay, silly question, as somebody just said there. Right, well, I'll tell you what the results were in percentages. Only 3%, and I think that's a ridiculous 3% would sell Daily Blind. 2% Juan Mata, 29% Januzaj, 66% Fellaini. So let's park that one for now because I want to sort of come back to the start. Bit of Coldplay. Let's go back to the start. The live comments is crying with Fellaini. Yeah, so Daily Blind. I've always said about Daily Blind, and I'm going to be very honest here, and sort of feeding with Fellaini, and I'm sure you lot will say the same as well. Gemma's voted Fellaini. Good one, Gemma. When it comes to Fellaini, when it comes to Daily Blind first, I've been saying consistently, and I can't be a hypocrite. I do these shows, the United Stand, Alex, everybody else, we do these shows. If we're a hypocrite, then you've got every right to call us a hypocrite. But in relation to Daily Blind, I've been saying for a number of months now that if you want to win a league title, you can't do it with Daily Blind as a centre-back. He's a competent centre-back. He reads the game very well. But I always use the same two games, West Ham and Spurs away, because they were towards the end of the season. People can remember them. He was shocking. There were games we needed to win. I mean, we could have got top four, as ridiculous as that sounds, under Van Gaal. But we lost both those games and others. If you want to win a title, you can't have Daily Blind as a centre-back. I think if you're someone like Everton and you want to finish sixth, Daily Blind's great. But if you want to win a title, you can't. Do I want Daily Blind to be sold like the rumours suggest? No, I do not want him to be sold. I think he is an absolute superb player to have in your squad. I think his best position is left back. I remember him playing there 18 months ago when they had that good run around March in Van Gaal's first season, and he was playing at left back, and everyone said, "Oh, he'll be too slow." And I remember saying, "No, it's nothing to do with pace being a defender. A lot of it is about knowing when to drop and read the game." And Blind reads the game really well. I think his best position is a left back. I know some people think he can play defensive midfield, which he can, but as a left back, that's where he was doing the damage in the World Cup for Haaland. That's where he should be for me. He shouldn't be in the first team, but as Jose said after the weekend game, that it's a squad game. We hopefully will play around 60 games this season. People will get injured. People will go in and out of form. You've got to have a number of players on your bench who are going to play 30 games a season, and it has to be. Alex Glover, your question, yes, we do, and he is probably the best utility player I think we've got. Phil Neville was great at it. He never really used to be a first-team player, but he'd still play 30 to 40 games a year because of injuries, etc. That's why Daley Blind's so important for me to stay. I don't want him to be in the first team as a centre-back. If Luke Shaw picked up an injury, which he could do because he's been out, he might get some sort of muscle thing, I'd have Daley Blind at left-back. That I really would like him to stay, and it concerns me that he might go. I think Fosu Mensah is the same in this season. I think he can play a number of positions. He's probably not quite ready to be first team yet. He will be, but on the bench, brilliant player to play in a number of positions. And that's where Daley Blind really is important to me. So I don't want him to go. I'm not being a hypocrite by saying, to those people who said you don't like Blind. I do like Blind. I just don't like him as a first choice centre-back. At the weekend when we're playing Leicester and Smalling can't play, I would play Daley Blind centre-back unless we're going to sign a centre-back, because I'd put him ahead of Rojo and Jones as a centre-back. But that doesn't mean... that's why I think we need to go and buy a centre-back. I think we need somebody better. Stephen Mahoney says Blind can do a similar job to John O'Shea for United. Utility player ready to step in to cover multiple positions. Exactly, Stephen. That's what I'm saying. But I tell you what, Blind is better than O'Shea. Blind is probably better than Phil Neville. He's a brilliant footballer and he's got a superb brain on him. And those two were absolutely essential if you want to go and win titles, which is why I'm surprised if the rumours are true that we're trying to get rid of him. I think he's a dead ringer for staying. You've got to keep him. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. I would imagine, I mean, I know there are a lot of people who watch the United stand who actually would have... no, everybody Hafiz don't type Ashley Williams to annoy Mark. Lauren Diamond, he's a competent squad player. Blind, keep Blind, says Ahmed. Better than Phil Neville, no, says Dahlia Man. Fair enough. Phil Neville was a very, very good squad player. I used to love him when he played centre midfielder against people like Arsenal. He was just brilliant. Phil Neville was really unlucky that he had an older brother in Gary Neville, because Phil Neville was a very good fullback, but he was always a couple of years behind Gary, and obviously Gary was a good right back. But yeah, Phil Neville might have been better than Blind. It's touch and go, but I know a lot of people like Blind, and I wouldn't be selling him. No way. Blind reads the game very good, says Noah Thomas. Oh, sometimes a sip of water is absolute heaven. Okay, next one. Marouane Fellaini. He was always coming up, wasn't he? Fellaini, for those who've missed it, David Moyes did an interview at lunchtime that was on Sky Sports. He's the new Sunderland manager. And a Sky Sports North reporter, I only caught the tweet because somebody tagged me into it. I really appreciate that when you tag us into stuff on Twitter, because we don't see everything. And they were basically saying that Moyes is interested in Fellaini and Januzaj. So I did a bit of digging on it. And Diddles Gaming, would you play Fellaini at centre-back? No, I bloody wouldn't. I wouldn't play him anywhere. So I'm not going to play him as centre-back. But so did a bit of research, and he did. David Moyes, actually, it's not rumour or anything like that. David Moyes said the words, I am interested in Januzaj and Fellaini, but so is a lot of other clubs. Subsequent to that, we've heard that Jose considers Fellaini to be an important member of his squad, and Fellaini is rumoured to have said he's going to snub a move away from Manchester United because he wants to stay and fight for his place here. As Alex Glover says there, chop the tree down. You know what? A lot of people were backing Fellaini again today, and for me, I just wish he would read a lot of social media. I wish he would read that 66% from 3,000 people voting today, that 66% of people want, out of those four players, would go for Fellaini to be sold. A lot of Manchester United players fans want him to be sold. I know some people like him. I know some people think he's a valuable member of the squad. I don't. I think he's a red card waiting to happen. I think some of the ways he throws his elbows around is a disgrace. I think as a footballer, he's pretty limited. I think he's got fantastic chest control. And I think if you want to play him as a number 10 and hit him from the fullbacks with 50-yard high balls, he's very effective. But that's not the way I want to see Manchester United play. On a total football level, I fail to see what he offers us, because he's rubbish at the ball with the ball at his feet and intricate passing. He's not very fast. He's not very skillful. His only threat is with the high lofted ball into the box. And that's not enough to carry somebody like that. Maybe he's an option off the bench, but I think our bench is strong enough that he won't even get on it anyway. I think just go put this whole sorry chapter behind you. There's a lot of United fans who don't hate you; they just want you to move on, and I think you should move on. But I have every confidence that he's not going to give us that wish, and I think he will go. He will stay. But for me, it always just comes down to the fact that he's not the sort of footballer I like. We don't, and we never should play to his strengths. I mean, I've said it so many times. When he was at Everton, he used to do quite well against Manchester United because they'd stick him up against the two centre-backs. Leighton Baines, very accurate as a left-back, 40-yard lofted ball. He's there with his elbows. He's controlling it on the chest. And then you're on the edge of the box as a team, and you lay it off to somebody to get a shot away. If you're Everton, that's great. It's not the way we want to see Manchester United playing. And it's ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous. That's why David Moyes signed him, because he was an ex-Everton manager. But he couldn't do that. He signs him and he realised he couldn't do that at United. And for the last 3 years at Fellaini, we've basically had a player that we've never played to his strengths to. I mean, be fair to him, we've never played to his strengths because we can't play that way of football. It's not the Manchester United way of playing. So you end up with this player who undoubtedly does try his best when he comes on, and I saw him at Anfield last year, and he's one of the few players putting his foot around and everything like that, and that's great to see. But ultimately, it's the old milkman adage again. Just because you come on and try doesn't mean if you're not good enough, you're not good enough, and he's not good enough. But isn't totally his fault because we don't play to what his strengths are. He isn't a defensive midfielder. He isn't a box-to-box midfielder. He's slow. As I said, he's like a giraffe in porridge. His first touch is like a brick wall. His passing is like, it's like a primary school passing, really. It's pretty poor. He's just not a Manchester United player, and he should go. And if people have a problem with that, that's just what my opinion is. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Fellaini deserves to stay more than Memphis, says Afro Jojo. Controversial, but if that's what you think. Fellaini is the next Skull, says Frass77. Well, Rooney thought he was. Julian Draxler says, Mark question, Ashley Williams or Shawcross. God, it's like picking between two glasses of water, stale glasses of water, isn't it? I would go with Shawcross because he's ex-United. James Downs, the people's elbow. Selling Blind would be like supporting Liverpool. A stupid question. United ain't finishing top four, says AK123. I think we are, mate. I really do. I'd be amazed if we don't. Stephen Mahoney again says he'd rather give an academy player a chance than keep Fellaini as a Man United player. He's not a good footballer and we are a footballing club. Very true. Hassan Gaming says Fellaini's on fire. Your defence is terrified. Keep Bastian. Timbo in midfield. Blind versus Milner, question mark. Blind. Talk about Pogba, says Harvey Hall. Well, I will talk about Pogba. I just want to very quickly talk about Januzaj because he was obviously mentioned as well. And I got an email from somebody the other day saying you haven't really spoken about Januzaj. Januzaj, I think, what I personally think when it comes to Januzaj, he had that good season under Moyes, and you thought he's going to be really good, and he nearly did a Pogba. We nearly didn't pin him down to a contract, and then there was a bit of debate, and we were all getting nervous thinking it's another Pogba. And how funny we actually did pin him down, and then it's not worked out. I think it's shocking from Januzaj. I don't understand what's gone wrong because people say, oh, he might still turn it around, but they forget that last year he was given 4 games in a row under Van Gaal. The season before he was given 4 games in a row, first team games in a row, and he was shocking in both. And for a young player to have 2 years of development opportunities and totally go backwards, I've never experienced that before. From a youth player to come into a team and look really good and then just totally do nothing, and even go to Dortmund and they sent him back. He was either a flash in the pan, not plan, or he's there's something massively wrong. I don't get it. I do think we need to sell him. I don't think we can waste any more time giving him opportunities. And if he gets it right at another club, then we'll just have to say, well, we did give him opportunities and he just never took it. I don't know. So people say to me, you go on about Pereira, but no, the last 2 managers just haven't fancied him, and it doesn't look like Jose does. I know he's a good player, but maybe there's an attitude problem. Januzaj and him got in trouble last season, didn't they, for trying to score direct from corners, and they got into a lot of trouble. So maybe there is an attitude problem. But again, this comes in with the modern footballer. Youth players used to have to clean the boots of the senior players and force their way into the team. And that nowadays you're being given, massive, 40, 50,000 pounds a week contracts when you're 17 and you're not even close to the first team. So maybe Anasai is just a byproduct of that. I don't know. I do not know. If we buy Morris, he could play on the right, and Mickey, number 10. The youth deserves a shot, says Axis Chilled 83. Yanu Bai, says Conor Corcoran. I think that's a very good one. He's not leaving, says Jose Mourinho MFC. Dab. What I would say about Janusaj is if he's not leaving, why wasn't he part of the squad at the weekend? I think Jose made it pretty clear that the only two players who weren't there who would have been involved was Smalling and Fosu. So you've got the likes of Schweinsteiger and Janusaj not there on Saturday, and I think that's a big telling sign. I think Janusaj will be going. Whether he gets away with a loan or not is another matter, but we'll just have to see. The Red Devil says, screw you, Janusaj. Jodo says he's rubbish with a swear word. Pogba or Cruz, says Aggro Champ. Well, it's got to be Pogba because he's a United player, isn't he? We'll talk quickly about Pogba then, because I know that's what people want to do. Pogba's a done deal. I suppose it gets quite repetitive, as Jason Zhang says, Janusaj, bye-bye. I've been saying for a while, I'm really relaxed about Paul Pogba signing. I think I've been saying it for about 3 weeks now. And it's funny because towards the end of last week, from all of last week, it was like a crescendo of like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And the weekend sort of killed it with the game. Another week started and it's not picked up again. It's like a few people are saying Pogba, but like Steve Nesbitt says Pogba and the Zs for sleep. It's just like, it is going to happen. I don't think anybody knows when it's going to happen. I think Adidas and Raiola and Manchester United and Juventus, God knows why, have kept it in house, and it's gonna happen. It's like Jose Mourinho said, winter is coming for Madrid. I've totally forgotten about that. That's one of my videos I can't wait to do when Pogba signs. But it's all gone a bit. It's all gone very quiet. I don't know when it's going to happen. I was talking to somebody today, and I think I put it up on Twitter. I've got a funny feeling it'll be a week today that it'll happen after the Community Shield. He'll be back from his holiday, and it's a big boost before the start of the season. People keep saying, why is he not back in training yet? But I don't think Griezmann's back for Atletico Madrid either. So although Martial's back for a week, I don't think Pogba's due back until, I think Carrick fans said it's something like the 6th of August. So not till the end of this week. So I can't see it happening until he comes back and he does his medical and everything like that. It is going to happen. But as Josh Sharp says, when is he back from his holiday? Because the day after that would fit. He's either going to have to go back and train with Juventus or he's coming to United. He's coming to United, isn't he? I'm 100% confident of that. He's clearly not going back to Juventus. If Real Madrid were in for him, it would be public. And Reagan Fitzpatrick's laughing about Carrick fan. If you follow Carrick fan, I don't know what he did last night, but something massive went off with a massive YouTuber, and it's all about FIFA. And apparently he mugged him off completely. But I don't know. 6th of August when he's back. Anyway, Harry H said that, and somebody else. It's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. But it is going to happen, and it will happen with Adidas doing a massive advert. Because as I said a couple of days ago or last night, there's an Adidas advert ready to come out. They've done everybody's advert. They've done Real Madrid, Chelsea, Juventus. Manchester United one hasn't happened, and Adidas even tweeted over the weekend. Red Devil wants a shout out. Adidas tweeted over the weekend, there is a United advert to come out, and trust us, it's going to be amazing. Pogba's going to be in it, isn't he? And that's going to coincide with Pogba signing. Could happen any day this week, but he's on holiday. I think he's enjoying his holiday. And I think the fact that it's gone quiet and nobody's panic about him potentially going anywhere else like they were last week, he will sign. Could be Saturday. Saturday is the 6th, isn't it? So it could be Saturday. But we've got Community Shield on Sunday. So I think next Monday. Could be totally wrong. Don't take me for a word for that, but it could be wrong. Drop us a like on the video. We are drawing towards the end of the video now. But Adidas, I think, have controlled it really well. I think the live comments has been absolutely superb. Adidas How announced the advert is coming soon. Stay tuned. It will be coming soon from Adidas. It could be this week. It's exciting to see. I can't wait for him to sign, but he will sign. But if you're not watching live, give us your comments on everything we've discussed. Hopefully it's been quite a ranty show. I disagree about Schweinsteiger and the way he's been treated. I'm happy Rojo's going. I don't want Blind to go. I want Fellaini to go. Pogba is coming. Dwarfy15 says, set a note on your calendar for Friday. It's my birthday and I'm expecting cake. And Matala Boa wants a shout out. Read my comment. He flew to England today, says Black Tide XD. I've not heard anything about Pogba flying to England, so I'll go and check that myself afterwards. But if he did, it could happen any time. When it does happen, we will have a video up straight away and we'll obviously react live. So yeah, keep getting involved. I've not done it for a few days, but we have got a link to the Patreon page. If you want a shout out and a question asked on the show, go to the Patreon page, go to the link on there, and you can do it that way. I'm actually away this week. I'm actually away. So those people who've left the video early, you're not going to know. You're going to tune in tomorrow for the rest of the week, and there won't be any United stand because I'm away. And that's it. The next show won't be till next Sunday. So you've got 6 days of no United stand. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Don't think that. Anthony Abdurrab says, great. I am away this week. I'm going down to London. It's been planned for a long time. So there will still be a watch along on Wednesday. Don't worry about that. I've got my laptop and everything with me. But I probably won't. I can't say that every video will be at 8:30. They might be slightly later because I'm probably going out for dinner and stuff like that and doing the sites. I'm thinking about doing some little videos for you to load up of sites in London and stuff like that just for a laugh. But we will have a video tomorrow night, but it's more, I'll put the video up like I do with the live comments so you'll know what time it's going to be. But I would suspect it's probably more like, it might be 8:30, but it's more likely it's going to be 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we'll be on every night as per usual, but won't be back till the set 8:30 till Friday when I'm back. It might be 8:30, might not be. Obviously on Wednesday night we'll be doing the watch along, and that will be about an hour before the game, so that will happen as well. So we are on every night, and we will react to everything. It's just I might not be on at 8:30, but just keep an eye on Twitter and all that lot. I wanted to say thank you very much for the live comments. Not masses of transfer news today, so it was good to sort of talk more about the squad, which I'm enjoying doing anyway. I think a lot of you did. Loads of you watching as per usual. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, keep getting involved. I think, you know, I say it every show, I'll do it again. I'll applaud you because I think you're fantastic and you give me a lot of pleasure on that live comments box. I wish I could read every comment out, but you know what? It's impossible, but I do read a lot of it and you do make me laugh. Let's see if there's anything to leave you on. I'm going to go and search if Pogba's flying in from England because I think it's absolute crap, but we'll see. And Harvey Hall's saying Pogba will sign Friday. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. No dab again until Fellaini goes. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll speak to you tomorrow night. I've got a video. I've got a video coming up at 4 o'clock tomorrow for you to watch. I'll see what you think of that. It's not a live one; it's a pre-record in relation to something. So watch that. But we will be live again tomorrow night as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your day tomorrow, and thanks for being part of the United Stand Army. It's just getting bigger and bigger, and it's your show, it's your channel, as I keep saying. Apparently, it was on Sky Sports again about Pogba. So we'll see if he's flying in. Then it could happen any day. It could happen anyway. See you later. Thanks for watching.